Hi, my name is Rachel and you're watching the Rachelistic channel. Yeah, welcome back to my channel, to another video, and if you're new to this channel, then hi and welcome. So today I am continuing on with my diagnosis journey and I am starting what is it called? I'm starting the diagnostic assessment for autism with Embrace Autism. So I've already done the screening with them before. That was like 2 years ago. So yeah, now I'm starting the diagnosis part. I don't know why, but I feel like kind of nervous to do this for some reason. I don't know why, because like, I don't know, this is like long overdue. Like I've been waiting to get a diagnosis for autism and now like it's actually happening, but I feel nervous for some reason now. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm finally doing it. So that's great. So I've already done like the preliminary stuff. And so now I am on to the first step of the I can't even say this word. The first step of the diagnostic assessment. And so, yeah, well, hold on a sec. So I didn't really do all of the preliminary stuff. I mean, I have to like just fill out all my personal information and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do that now. And then when I'm doing like the actual like tests and things, then I will come back to that. I already know that there's like a lot of tests though. So there's 12 psychometric tests that I have to do. So I'm not gonna do that all in one sitting. I'm gonna break it up over a few days because I'm not trying to sit here and just do test after test after test. Like that's just not the vibe. So yeah, but when I'm to the part of doing the psychometric tests, I will tune back in. For you guys, it's gonna be like a second, but for me, it'll be longer than that. So okay, so I'm back, but it's not because I am at the part of doing the psychometric tests. It's because as I was doing the personal information part, and then I realized that there's actually a whole questionnaire that I have to answer with like questions and like things like about my life. Yeah, it's basically, it's the same, I think it might be the same or like an updated version from like when I did the screening. When I did the screening, I had to do this questionnaire before where I like answered a bunch of questions. I had to bring up memories from my life and stuff like that. Like it took a while for me to do. So as I'm doing this, like I like going through the personal information stuff, and then I noticed that I actually have to do a whole questionnaire again. So yeah, I probably won't be doing the psychometric test today because I know that this questionnaire is going to take me a while to do. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and when I come back this time it will be for the psychometric test. I cannot guarantee that it is going to be today. It probably won't be today. The next clip will be the psychometric tests time. Hello, so I am back and I have in fact finished the questionnaire part where I have to answer all the questions. It took me a while to finish the questions because some of them I was trying to figure out how to answer them and to make sure that I answer them like accurately. So it took me a while, but I did it. I finished the questions. So now I am on to the psychometrics tests part. So there are, I don't know if I said this already, but there are 12 in total that I have to do, although 2 of them, I was just like looking over the information again, and 2 of them, it says to do them if you have a history of trauma. So I'm not sure if that's like optional, I guess. I don't know. It says to do them if you have a history of trauma, which I don't really have a history of trauma, so I don't know if I'm gonna do them or not. Maybe I'll send them an email and like ask a question like, I don't know. One thing I've heard is that like a lot of people who grew up undiagnosed autistic have childhood trauma just because they grew up undiagnosed autistic. So I might just send an email and see if I should do one. But anyways, I'm not doing that today. Today I'm gonna do the first three. So the empathy quotient, I don't even know how to say that word. Quotient, I'm not sure, but the empathy one. The systemizing quotient, and the executive skills questionnaire. So yeah, those are the three I'm gonna take today. There's a video that's provided to kind of help with the first one, the empathy quotient, because it can be a little bit confusing. So I'm just waiting for that video to download right now, and I'm gonna watch it, and then I'm gonna take the empathy quotient, and I will fill you in on how that goes, what it's like. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give any specific details about what the actual test is, because just in case, I don't want to like ruin it for anybody, but I'm just going to tell you like kind of what my experience is like how I felt after taking it or during taking it. So yeah, I'll catch up with you when I'm done. So I have finished the empathy quotient. Following along with the video that was provided was very helpful, because I definitely would have gotten stuck on some of those questions and not knowing exactly how to answer them. So yeah, the video was really helpful, and it was great because she went through all of the, like, she went through the entire like test. So like you can just follow along and answer the questions when she answers them. So that was really helpful and great. Yeah, it made answering the questions a lot easier. And also, like, I realized that I do not know how to put myself in other people's shoes, because I literally have no idea how other people think. Like, I literally have no idea. And I just realized that about myself. So that's nice. But yeah, if you're curious, the score that I got on the empathy quotient was 30. So it's a very low score for, where is the information? Yeah, I got 30, and most non-autistic females score 47. Yeah, so now it's time to move on to the next psychometric. So the next one I'm gonna do is the what's it called? The Systemizing Quotient, revised. So before I actually do the test, I just wanted to say what the Systemizing Quotient is about, basically like what it tests. So on Embrace Autism, like it tells you a little bit about like the tests like before you take it. On here it says that it measures your proclivity, which I guess is like tendency to systemize or think in terms of systems. Basically what I get from this is that it's like measuring like how much you tend to like think about things in like systems or like categories and things like that. Like, I don't know if that made any sense at all, but I'm gonna put, obviously I should have already put the name of the test on the screen somewhere, so if you want to learn more about it, just look up the name of the test so you can understand kind of more what it's about if you're curious. But yeah, or you can just head on Embrace Autism and find it underneath the autism tests tab, I think. So if you want to read up about it, you can do that for yourself. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this test and stop yapping. That's such a weird word. I'm gonna stop talking, I'm gonna take the test, and I will get back to you when I am done. So I have just finished the Systemizing Quotient revised version. So I got a 60 on that test, which According to information that's like on the website on Embrace Autism, my score is like in between like the average score for a neurotypical female and an autistic female. So I don't really know what that means. Maybe I'm just not a very systemizing person. I don't know. It is what it is. I got a 60. Some of the questions were a little bit hard to answer just because it's like I don't really know what they mean by some of the specific things, or like it's just worded weirdly where I'm just like I don't know what you mean. But I don't know. I think I did the best that I could. So yeah, so now I'm going to do the executive skills questionnaire. It's testing like what your executive functioning skills are like, basically. So yeah, I'm gonna do that now and let you know what it's like afterwards. So I finished the executive skills questionnaire, and at the end you get a bunch of numbers. There's a bunch of results because it like gives you like a result for each like category, I guess, of executive functioning. And so your three highest scores are your executive skills like strengths. So your three lowest scores are your executive skills challenges. So yeah, so my three highest scores, so my strengths, I guess, were in working memory, organization, and response inhibition and metacognition were tied for third. So yeah, I don't really know what metacognition means, but it's in the top, it's tied for third place. So okay. I don't really know what response inhibition means either. So, but apparently I'm good with my working memory and organization. So, slay. My three lowest were in emotional control, task initiation, and flexibility. Well, actually, task initiation and flexibility are actually tied for being my worst score, so which makes sense. And then it's emotional control, and then stress tolerance and sustained attention would be tied for third lowest, so which also kind of makes sense. All of this makes sense except for my strengths. Like I don't know what metacognition is, and I don't really know if I understand what was it, response inhibition. I'm gonna have to look into those and figure out what they mean, but the challenges definitely make sense for me. So yeah, your girl is not flexible physically or emotionally. Just kidding, but not really. um That's not a funny joke. Anyways, so I'm done with these psychometric tests for today. I will come back probably not tomorrow because I will be doing my hair tomorrow, and that's a full day event. If you know, you know. I'll probably be back in a few days and do the next three psychometrics and tell you what it's like. Also, I didn't really tell you what this one was like. Lol. But yeah, the executive skills questionnaire is not too bad. Some of the questions I was like, I don't really know how to answer. I tried my best as per usual. The thing I like about this one though is that it gives like a bigger range of like options, you know, because like the other ones just have like a definitely agree, slightly disagree, or definitely disagree type of thing. But this one has strongly agree, tend to agree, neutral, tend to disagree, disagree, and strongly disagree. I like it when they have a bigger range of options for answering the questions because it makes it just a little bit easier to answer them. But yeah, so that's it for today, and yeah, next clip will be a different day when I'm doing the next two tests. So see you then. Okay, I'm back and it is a new day, and I am back at it with these psychometric tests for my autism diagnosis stuff. So yeah, so last time I did 3 tests in a day and I was pretty tired afterwards. So I don't know if I'm gonna do 3 again today. We'll see how I feel after 2, but yeah. So the first one I'm doing today is for ADHD actually. It's called the Adult ADHD Self-Report Scale for DSM-5. It says that it's only 6 questions and it should only be like 2 to 5 minutes to do. So that's pretty great. But yeah, I'm gonna do it and check back in. Alright, so I finished it. It was quick and easy, painless. It's 6 questions. It's really easy, quick and easy to do. So yeah, it was great. Probably the best test so far because it was so short and easy. And the questions are not that difficult to understand. So yeah, love that. But yeah, I got a score of 12 and like typically people with ADHD score a 14 or higher. So I'm like just below it, which I'm not really surprised about because I've kind of been like on the fence about whether or not I actually have ADHD anyways. So I don't know, it kind of makes sense that I'm kind of there. Like autism has a lot of similarities with ADHD anyway, so it's like kind of close but not quite there. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. So there still is another psychometric test that I have to do that is about ADHD anyways, so we'll see what I get when I do that one, but I'm not doing that one today. So now I'm going to do the next test, which is the Toronto Alexithymia scale. Is it alexithymia or alexithymia? I don't know. I literally made a video about this before, so I should know how to pronounce it, but apparently I don't. So anyways, I'm gonna do that one now. If you can't already guess, it's about alexithymia. So yeah, and if you don't know what alexithymia is, it's not really the inability, but it's like having difficulty with being able to tell what emotions you're feeling. I have a whole video about it, like I said. So if you want to watch that video and learn more about alexithymia, you can do that. I'm gonna do this test now and I will come back after. Oh my gosh. No, but that's crazy though. Okay, so I finished the alexithymia scale. What is it? The Toronto Alexithymia scale. And as I'm doing this test, I'm just like, I guess, I'm like, I feel like I'm having like a huge like revelation about myself that I didn't realize before, but like, guys, I don't know how to describe my feelings to people. It's crazy. I knew that, okay, I knew that, but I didn't, for some reason, like when I did that first video about alexithymia, I like gaslighted myself into thinking that I'm like, I know how to describe my feelings. I know what I'm thinking. Girl, bye. And also, apparently over analyzing like what you are feeling or like is a part of alexithymia. When you like really think about like the feelings that you're having, you're like, why did I feel like this? Why, like when you really overanalyze, that's a part of alexithymia. I didn't know that. And so I'm doing this test and I'm like, bro, I definitely have alexithymia. And the score also indicates that because I got a 64. So there's a total score and then there are subtotal scores, and my total score is a 64, and if you get over 61 then you have alexithymia. So I have alexithymia, and then it gives you like the 3 different like kind of categories of alexithymia, which are the subscores. So my highest one is in difficulty describing feelings, which makes sense, and then it's in difficulty identifying feelings, and then externally oriented thinking. So those are the 3 categories. Learned something new about myself today. Doing this test, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't like the questions weren't too hard to understand or anything like that. So yeah, it was fairly easy, pretty quick to do. It was 20 questions, so it wasn't too bad. Honestly, I don't feel too tired or worn out after this, so I'm probably gonna do a 3rd test today. So the next test is the online Alexithymia questionnaire. So it's another one for alexithymia. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and get back to y'all. Okay, so I finished the online alexithymia scale, or sorry, alexithymia questionnaire. And I just want to say that I feel personally attacked by some of these questions. I don't know. I'm sure you guys are probably like, what the heck is she talking about? I don't understand. But basically, this test has a lot, it tests like a lot more subcategories of alexithymia. So the total score, I got 130, which is in the range for alexithymia. And then the other categories are in difficulty identifying feelings, which was in the last one, difficulty describing feelings, which was also in the last one. There is vicarious interpretation of feelings, which I don't really know what that means. There's externally oriented thinking. This one was in the last one. There's restrictive imaginative processes, which I did not know was a part of alexithymia. I feel like I'm learning a lot about alexithymia today that I didn't know. Another category is problematic interpersonal relationships, and then the last one is sexual difficulties and disinterest. I didn't realize that those like alexithymia like had so many different subcategories and affected so much different kind of aspects of your life like that. So yeah, I definitely gotta do more research about alexithymia. I might just do another test, honestly, because I don't feel like tired or anything. I feel fine, so I might do another one. Yeah, let me just get all this information sorted out, screenshots and whatnot, and then I will be back. Hello. So I lied in the last clip, lol. I said that I was gonna do like another psychometric test because I was like, oh, I don't feel tired or anything. I have enough energy to do another one. But then after like compiling all of like the screenshots and stuff, and then I was like just thinking a lot about the results that I got from the alexithymia tests, and I was like feeling a lot of emotions. So I didn't really feel like doing another test. But now it's days later, feeling better, feeling refreshed, back in a better mindset, I guess, to continue on with these psychometric tests. So today I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do the Toronto Empathy Questionnaire and the Yale Brown Obsessive Compulsive Scale. So that one should be interesting. But yeah, so the first one I'm starting off with is the Toronto Empathy Questionnaire. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Obviously it's testing empathy. Again, I did another one that was testing empathy, so it'll be interesting to see how these results maybe differ, or maybe they're the same as the other ones. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna do the test and then I will be back and tell you all about it. Okay, so I have finished the Toronto Empathy Questionnaire and I got a 49. And so basically, if you score a 45 or higher, then it indicates that you probably have higher than normal empathy, basically. Yeah, which I think makes sense for me and the way that I think about things. So yeah, it's kind of interesting though, because it's like, I feel like it's kind of conflicting to have like alexithymia where it's like I can't, like, I struggle with identifying my emotions and like talking about emotions and stuff like that. But then I have like higher than normal empathy. I feel like those things are conflicting for some reason. The thing for me, it's like I have trouble identifying my own emotions and stuff like that, but then I find it easier. I won't say I find it really easy, but I find it easier to identify other people's emotions and like want to help people and stuff like that, I guess. But then it's like I also don't know necessarily how to put myself in other people's shoes. I think it's like, I don't know. I know that there are different types of empathy, but like in the sense of like, what would I do if I were this person in a certain situation? Like in that case, it's hard for me to have empathy because I'm like, I don't know how your brain works. I don't know what your thought process is. I have no idea how to do that. But then having empathy in the sense of like caring for other people and wanting to help people, or like, you know, or if like things are unfair and you want to help people and do things and make sure that things are like fair and like, you know, you just want to help people, like in that sense I think I have higher empathy. So yeah, it's kind of confusing. I hope that made sense. But yeah, doing these tests, I'm learning a lot of things about myself. But yeah, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about for sure. But anyways, doing the test, I keep forgetting to talk about like what doing the actual test was like. But yeah, this test was pretty short. It was 16 questions, and I feel like the questions were not too difficult for me to understand. I feel like it wasn't like things where I'm like sitting there for like forever like trying to figure out what it's trying to say. So yeah, it was pretty simple. It wasn't too difficult. I didn't find it was too difficult, and it was pretty short. So yeah, pretty good overall. Not a bad test. It's definitely, I would say that this empathy questionnaire is definitely easier than the first one that I did, where there's literally a video to go along with you on how to take it. The first one is definitely more confusing, can be way more confusing than this one. This one is definitely easier, so yeah, in my opinion anyways. But now I'm going to do the Yale-Brown Obsessive Compulsive Scale. And this is to basically test for OCD, which I'm actually very interested to see what I will get for this test, because I've never really looked into OCD that much, or like thought about if maybe that's something that I have or not. So I'm very interested to see what I get. As always, I'm gonna do it and then I'll be back. So I finished what's this thing called? I don't know. So anyways, I finished the test, and basically the results that I got is like that I probably don't have OCD. Like it's very low scores. My total score is like a 6, which is like 0 to 7. If you have a score of like 0 to 7, then it's like none. So yeah, probably don't have OCD. There's a very low chance that I do. There's like, it gives you like a total score, and then they're like with whatever categories that you indicate something in. I don't even know if that makes any sense, but like basically if you say that you experience something in like one of the categories, then it will give you like a subtotal score within that category basically. And so of the categories that I had, all of the numbers was like basically between 1 and 6, and then one of them was 8, which would be like, because 8 to 15, if you have a score of 8 to 15, that's like mild. So like one thing is like mild OCD, I guess, I don't know. But then the total score is 6, so it's like, yeah, it's like, it's basically you don't have OCD, which I agree with, because as I was doing the test, I was like, oh yeah, if this is what OCD is, then that's not me. So yeah, taking the test I don't know, it wasn't too bad. So like basically the first part you go through like the different categories of like obsessions and compulsions, and you say whether or not you experience those symptoms. The second part kind of asks is kind of like more about like how frequently you experience those symptoms. So yeah, it wasn't too hard. Some of the like different categories I was a little bit stuck on because I'm like, I don't know if this counts as like a compulsion or something, because it's like, I don't know, because like autism, right? It's like you do things a certain way, and I'm like, I don't know if that counts or not in this test. So yeah, but it was definitely interesting for sure. That's it for today. I am done with taking tests. I have two more, and then there's the other two that are like if you have this history of trauma. But anyways, I'm done for today, and I will be back when I am doing the other tests. So, hello, I am back again. It's a new day. So my plan is to finish the rest of the psychometric tests today. I have 4 left. Before, I was like debating whether or not I wanted to do the 2 tests that are for like trauma, and I sent an email. I was like asking like if I need to do them or not, and they said that it's optional, and like if you want to be assessed for PTSD or CPTSD, then you can do them. And so yeah, I just decided to do them because like I'd rather just get assessed, like get like, you know, everything looked at, just to have like a full picture. So yeah, so the 4 left that I have to do today. So there are 2 ADHD questionnaires, and then there is the adverse childhood experiences questionnaire and the internal trauma questionnaire. All of them are pretty short, so like about 5 minutes to do each of them. So that's why I'm going to do all of them today. The first one that I'm doing today is the DSM-5 ADHD questionnaire. This one is like, is not online. It's like you have to like download the questionnaire. So I'm going to do that now, and then as always I will be back to share how it went. So I finished the DSM-5 ADHD questionnaire. I thought that it was going to be fast. I mean, it didn't take that long. I would say maybe it took like what, like 15 minutes or something like that. That's just because I was like really thinking about, you know, the questions and like how to answer it, because I want it to be accurate, and I'm like just making sure that I'm answering the things accurately and not just saying yes I do this even though I may not actually really do it, or do it often enough for it to be a yes on the question. So it was fairly simple to take. The only thing, I mean, I guess it makes sense because this is like for ADHD, and like ADHD traits like are things that like everyone experiences, but it's like to a more like to like a higher degree. That's what makes it ADHD, because it's like way more than the average person. So I guess that's why there's no like sometimes option for the questions. But yeah, a lot of things I'm like, well, sometimes I do this, but it's not often. But I just don't like that it's like, because it's like the options are like if you've experienced it in the last 6 months, if you've experienced it before the age of 12, if you've experienced it like in the last 6 months and before the age of 12, and then if you've never experienced the trait, and then it's like if it affects your daily functioning or whatever. Some of the things is like it's not like I've never experienced this trait, but I guess I've never experienced it often, I guess is the thing. Because it's like it's a sometimes thing, but it's like it's not like I often do that thing. So yeah, I got pretty low scores on this. I think. I don't really know. I don't have anything to compare it to because it's just like you just download the questionnaire. There's no like information on like, oh, this is what most people with ADHD get or anything like that. So I don't really know, but I'm assuming that I didn't really get very high scores. Also, one thing that I realized about myself is that a lot of the times when I say that I forgot to do something, I didn't actually forget to do it. I just say that I forgot to do it. It's more that I procrastinated on it and I didn't want to do it. So I just say that I forgot, which is a bad habit for one. I kind of been tricking myself into thinking that I forget things a lot when actually I don't forget things. I just procrastinate and don't want to do them. And I just say that I forgot, but I never actually forgot about it. So yeah. But anyways, so that was the DSM-5 ADHD questionnaire. And so yeah, the next one that I'm going to do now is the Embrace Autism ADHD. Sorry, that's not what it's called. It's called the Embrace Autism DSM ADHD questionnaire. I'm gonna assume that it's similar to the last one I just did. It's just the Embrace Autism version of it, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna do that and then I will be back. Alright, so I finished the Embrace Autism DSM ADHD questionnaire. And at first I was confused because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But I think it's like you do this like with the previous DSM questionnaire as a reference, I guess, because the first questions I was like confused for a second. It was like asking like how persistent your symptoms are, or if you've experienced ADHD symptoms like before you were 12 and stuff like that, and I was like a little bit confused because I was like, is there something I'm supposed to be referring to answer these questions? But yeah, I just looked at the previous thing that I did and then answered the questions. And then there's like another part to it where basically it just goes through the exact same questions that was on the other ADHD questionnaire, but it's like more in-depth answers, I guess. So basically you would say like if you don't experience it or you experience it, or like whatever, it's either, sorry, the answers are it doesn't apply to you more than 10% of the time, or it applies to you 30%, it applies to you 60%, or it applies to you 90% of the time. And so that I really liked because it's not like I never experienced this. It's like, you know, there's levels to how much you experience things, which I liked that. But then also it also like if you put the that it applies to you like 60% or 90% of the time, or 30, so whatever. If you say that it applies to you, then you have to put like examples, like 1 to 3 examples of like how this applies to you in your life, which is good because it made me rethink some of my answers. I even changed one of the answers that I put on the previous questionnaire because I'm like, actually wait, I don't actually experience this as much as I thought I did, or whatever, because having to think of examples really puts into perspective how much of these ADHD traits that I experience, or the degree to which I experience them. So yeah, it was good. Once I figured out what I was doing, it was fairly easy, not too hard to do. The score, I guess, I pretty low scores for ADHD, honestly. It's not looking like your girl has ADHD, which honestly it's fine. That's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. Everybody has bad days. But yeah. So that was the ADHD questionnaires done. So now I'm going to move on to the adverse childhood experiences questionnaire. So yeah, this is one for trauma. I'm going to do that one now, and yeah, get back to you when it's done. Okay, so I finished the adverse childhood experiences questionnaire, and it was very short, very easy, very straightforward. I got a 0. I mean, I wasn't really expecting to get any answers because I know that I didn't have any major traumas in my life, or like childhood traumas in the home in my life like that, so I wasn't expecting a score a high score or anything like that, so a 0, it makes perfect sense. So yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say, so I don't know. The next test I'm gonna do, this is the last one, guys. Oh my goodness. The last test, the last one I'm doing is the International Trauma Questionnaire. I don't really know what that means, but we'll find out. Yeah, I'm gonna do that and I'll be back. It's my last test, guys. Let's go. So I finished the International Trauma Questionnaire, and this one was pretty straightforward. It was not too long. It asks you to like put in like the, I guess, one experience that troubles you the most. Then you answer the questions based on that. And yeah, so, and then it gives you like a score, like for PTSD, and then a score for CPTSD. And it gives you the score, and then it tells you whether or not you meet the criteria for those things. And so I didn't meet the criteria. I cannot speak. I didn't meet the criteria for either of them. I don't know, I was kind of curious to see if like I would have CPTSD, because like, I don't know, I just heard a lot of people, like a lot of late diagnosed autistic people, I guess on social media, have CPTSD just from being undiagnosed growing up, apparently. So I was curious to see if I would get that, but I didn't really get there. I didn't meet the criteria for CPTSD, so I don't know. I guess I don't have it. I have finally done all of the questionnaires and the questions and everything. So yeah, the only thing I have to do now is put it all together, just make and send it in, and then just wait until they get back to me, and then it will be, and then we schedule an interview portion. I don't really know what happens during the interview, so I don't know. I'll have to wait and see for that. But yeah, and then after the interview, then I will have my diagnosis. Yeah, but for now, I'm done with the questions. So that's great. This will be the end of this video for today. So part 1 of my diagnostic assessment video ends here. The next part will be about, I guess, when I do the interview and I guess getting the results, I think. If you've made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching this far along. I hope that my information, or I guess, I don't know, my experience with doing this may be helpful or interesting to you. But yeah, that's the end of today's video. If you liked it, then please hit the like button. If you have anything you want to say, any maybe experiences with doing any of these tests, or just doing your own diagnosis experience, I don't know, if you want to share that in the comments, go ahead and do that below. It's always nice to see your comments. And yeah, if you like watching my videos, then please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when I post my next video. As always, stay Rachelistic, or whatever your name is istic, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, goodbye.